Kia ora. Hello world, my name is Lachlan Piper Myhill, and today I am going to read out all of my poetry, all the material that I have. I've got some chocolate from when I ate Oreos earlier. Yeah, I'm just going to read it all out. I don't feel great, so still there. There you go, it's better. So yeah, let's get into it. And I'll let you know what some of them mean, if I can. This one is called Using Dialects. I have no clue what it's meant to be. It's just incorporating one of my quotes into a poem. Using dialect and vocabulary diabolically, ventures soothing desperation vocally, breaking freely from disembodied vermouths by embodying pressured personality, despite personally unfavoured, is needed in environment upsetting, diet unsettling, and time upselling, opposed to the process of limiting idiocracy eventually sanctions, painfully wiring both to triggers and installing. Welcome apparently, but poison is known by the unheard party shouting, right? Enter positioning with disguise dissolves to reveal bleeding from the eyes to the mouth, to the nose and hand seething, stealing an idea from the past, curling in a parent's arms and crying, stating loud vulnerability mistakenly, volatile, violating, all said and practiced about consistencies for displaying emotion true to the feelings, bursting in variety under the motion of sadness, mistakenly volatile, repeating, however the change away from anger still gets perceived as sickness, unfair but it is what it is. Communication is a resource best used for those who listen. Now that is actually, I had an experience where I came out of hospital. I came out of fucking piece of shit Waratah, not Waratah was great. Nepean, that's when I came out of Nepean. Spent Christmas Eve with some mates, and then the following day, spent Christmas at I went to my dad's house temporarily. I cried, and I got sent away to another hospital, Wollongong Hospital. It was terrible. But it is what it is. That happened. Next one, Thy Found. Thy found a tangible soothing thought true, except in this fog is just misunderstood abuse, met an inclination at the bottom of my chest, towards the stomach, a stomped out cry thought best, all because a powerless person known correct, gave little percentage for crows to misinterpret, struck their luck, and now bathe in inconsistency, fragile but reinforced by their verdicts and reverence. It's useless to fight against ferocity relentless, it's verbatim, a quick switch to flick away from the individual in disarray, preaching evidential suggestions to help them in better ways, solutions theoretically, but psychosis apparently, sprinkled with a betrayal and trust, leading to repeated ignorance all the same. Shame my speculation to showcase direction, be wielded in sanction, a safe place to inject medication and practice more patience, better than perfect to concentrate on elation. With the use of creative arts bountiful will prove a disconnection to reality, but shared with the wrong interest will prolong discomfort in reality. Sadly unfair when age disallows maturity. So that is when I wrote that because there was like a meeting I did at Wollongong Hospital with my parents in the room. The fucking bitch-ass lady, psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are evil. Public psychiatrists are fucking evil. They just straight up only care about what their own opinion is, and that's it. They have no consideration for the individual that they're caring for. And yeah, she labelled me as psychotic, and that meant that I had to, what was it? Involuntary, what's it called? Involuntary admission. Involuntary admission, meaning you have no rights anymore, you have to stay, and you're fucked. And my parents just let that happen, it is what it is. What am I to do except fucking... I could do nothing. You do nothing. When you're in a public hospital, you're cementing your own insanity away. You're cementing your own sanity away. Next one. Actually, all of these are just titled like what the first two words are. I never actually gave them like creative, cool titles. But well, whatever. Spewing words faster than the speed of sound, although slower sometimes, it's my light I reflect. Made bets of myself to challenge what's left. After self-reflection takes place, whom do I interject? Faded my words became when sobering up, whether intentional or non-consensual, skewed the confrontation I found by my surrounding telling so, you're doing well, I wish my father said so. Whoa, that felt great, exclaiming problematic woes. For a young adult becoming the surroundings I chose. Faded greatness is inevitable in sensual knows. Let's face it, together as a team, work all known, allowing complacence as uncomfortably thrown, disregarding common sense as comfortable lies, amounting more so for hard work to be shown. Like tactile to ire, a riveting tantrum is groaned. I just wrote that because, like, while I was in hospital, my dad wouldn't listen to me. It took him like a full month before. Not a full month, sorry. I don't know how long it took. It took for ages until he was like, until I cried in front of him and he realized, yeah, this place isn't good. And so he helped me get out within like the next week, I think, or the week after, one of the two. But yeah, I wrote that because he wasn't listening to me. Senseless but sensible structure starts all from a caressed stature, sterile maybe, but inevitable crafted messages. Messy albeit, but eventual. What a relief hard work pays. Passive aggression, however, transpires in totally uncool and uncalled for lines, uncaring investment, unmaking uninteresting bars, intentionally ruining absolute amounts, unintelligibly, that's not a word, unintelligently about, moving the converse from a cooling breeze to a mountain rumbling, the communication spewing lava when enough is enough, faulting the mountain and not the tectonic movement, unrelenting but forgiveness is trapped in absolute amounts, amounting leave as a safe haven for less, to be an intelligent amount, forgetting that it's to the self, when the perpetrator comes to go, repeating sarcasm and exclaiming, actually no, it's not passive aggression because I said so. Wasted potential and more valuable information, more to the point that the All-Father knows more lies. I wrote that because my stepmother was being very passive aggressive to me and just wouldn't admit it. I called her out on it, and yeah, she just, she just is that way. Speaking of which, this is my Lego Thingifer. Let's take a break from the poems. I will show off some of the Legos that I made while I was in hospital. This is of my stepmother. It's a cathedral. This one is of my father. It's like a crest, like an emblem. It's all got all this creative, got all this messy colors on it. Yeah, it's like a sigil. Is that the word? It's like an emblem. That's not. I had a word for it. It's not a sigil. Is it a sigil? It looks like a sigil, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a sigil. It's a sigil. It's a sigil for my father. What else have I got? I had a bunch, but I lost them to time. I lost them to shit. Sorry, something kind of broke. Let's take them out. I lost I don't know. Like I left them in a bag in my dad and stepmom's car. Their AMG Mercedes AMG. Um. 8-seater, 7-seater. And I made of all my friends, the friends that I talked about in that video, called, what was it called? Repressed Memories of My Friends. Yeah, I lost some, which I'm kind of sad about, but it is what it is. I broke this one. This one's broken. Well, it's not broken, but it's missing pieces. Where did the pieces go? Pieces, show up. The fuck is this? I don't know. Come on, Lego. I was on a roll. I was gonna pull them out just naturally. But I stuffed it up. Let's just pull them all out. Some of them are broken. Oh, that's what it is. Maybe I should have done this in a separate video, but whatever. Ugh. I don't really care. Oh, shit. No, yeah, some of these are just straight up, they got missing pieces. It's really annoying. Really, really annoying. That's really annoying. But it's alright, I'll fix them up. The hell was this one? Oh, that's my sister's. That's the one meant to represent my sister. Yeah, there you go. Ugh. It is quite annoying how some of them are just straight up broken, but it is what it is. I live in a constant state of fear and misery. Do you miss me anymore? And I don't even notice anymore. Pussy, 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 can't you see? Which is weird, because, I don't know, they just kind of randomly broke. But I have the pieces here, surely. Yeah, this is just random. Oh. Who is this one? I straight up forgot who this one was. It's someone. I don't know. It's like this thing. This like I don't even know what it is. It's like it's something. I forgot who I made this for though. I forgot who I made this one specifically for. It's someone. It's for someone. Okay. I fixed roughly most of them. Alright, let's start with this one. This one is Ariana. It is like it's like a facility. You know, these are like electricity walls, and you know, she's like a machine of sort. It's not really a machine. It's more like a, I don't know, what do you call that? Like a door? No, not a door. Like whatever. It's a whatever, right? You can get an idea of what it is. This one is of my little sister Caitlin. It is like a cool waterfall nature thing. Yeah, it's pink. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this one. Oh, that's what. Wait. Quick, Lachlan. Stop taking so long. Shoot, Lachlan. Oh, there it is. I need to fix this one. I need to fix the one. Just fix it, Lachlan. Fix it. Fix this one specifically. Shoot. Okay, cool, I fixed it. This one is of my childhood friend, Kelsey. It's like... It's like a... You know... It's like a... it's like a research facility tower. In like a boring land. It's got some colour to it, but mostly it's blended out. I'll give it another look. Wow, isn't it cool? This is of my wonderful good friend Philip, who plays League of Legends with me. He's like shoot. He's like a battle machine. You know, like look at all these weapons. He's got a shield, a bulwark, and a sword, and he's got a map for directions. He's got a gun. Look at that gun. It's a cool gun. And then he's got like a walkie-talkie. You know, he's a computer. He's like it's like a computer. And a red bug. Look at that red bug. Yes. This is of Tia Mikrat. Now, I should actually mention something about Tia Mikrat. We are not really friends. I have this theory that she was the counselor person in the group therapy. That was her, because that person really represented her. That same features and everything. But I'm psychotic, so you know I misinterpret things a lot to delusions or what the fuck. Who cares? Look at that, isn't it cool? Um, so I've had experiences that have felt like people have talked to me, not through like physical voices. I'm not schizophrenic, but like you like think it's like thoughts. It's like thoughts of other people's words come into your mind, and that mosquito. What are mosquitoes doing at this time of year? No clue. But yeah, I don't know. I just the experiences I've had with Alfreda, or what I thought to be, and the same thing what I thought to be with TME Crowd. It's like if you were in my position, you would 100% understand. But you're not me. So next one. This is a spaceship, a Ford Percy. It's a cool, colorful spaceship. It's missing its wing. It's missing the other side of the wing. But whatever. All right. It's a cool spaceship. Look at this spaceship. Now, I don't remember who this is. I don't remember who this is at all. I want to know who that is. I want to try and remember who that is. This is of Shaylord Taylor 1234, Explorer of Complacency. Yeah, it's like a cool. It's like a field of passion and daring. This field is more like a. I don't know. It's a something. Look at this. It's a something. Next we have Daniel Baxter. Now I made one that was like strikingly similar to Gino Joestar, Superstar, Coworker. Oh yeah, a little joke I made. The security of it, it's like insecurity. Because yeah, this guy's very insecure about talking to women. But it's fine, he's still alright. But yeah, I'm really annoyed that I lost my one for Gino, because that was like the only other one I cared about. This one's cool, I like this one, the Kenyan Crocodile. This one's of Chris Otieno. He's like a crocodile boosting through life. The little lore behind the crocodile is that we got high, we smoked weed and built some Lego together, and he built like this spaceship thing with like a mama crocodile and a baby crocodile on the side that was used as like a weapon, and that was like his expression of how he felt about his mum using him for her own benefit, which is really cool. Not that he explained that, but I read that clearly. Anyhow, this is crocodile. Whoosh. Whoosh. This one. Oh shoot, I broke it. This one is Alec Zandi. It's like a printer. It's like a printer full of color. And some weapons on it, just to express like his interest in Warhammer. Isn't it cool? Look at it. It is very cool. Ryan Wazaleski. This is like it's like a city full of, it's like a pale city. It's like Ryan doesn't want lots of. He's a creative person, but he doesn't want a lot of complexity in his life. He's a very simple man, and this is what this is meant to express. It's very simple, yet colourful, and he only uses primary colours too. It only uses primary colours. I'm pretty proud of that design. That only uses primary colours. Look at that. I've got little cars on the side, and like a walkway. with into like the windows of the building, and then like the top of the building. You know, look how cool it is, isn't it cool? I can't twist my hand. What else have I got? This one is of Elliot Dunn. It's missing some pieces, and I don't remember how it actually formed. I don't remember what it kind of looks like, but this is like the fragment of it. This is what I found, what I could find of Elliot. It's like a not an oil rig, but like it's like a facility. Look at it. Look how cool it is. Isn't it cool? It's missing some pieces, but I don't know. Maybe that adds something to it. Maybe. Is that all? Is that all of them? I got this one. This one represents... Oh, actually, no, I have some more. What am I talking about? I have this one. This one represents... I made a mirrored one that I lost of me. This one's meant to represent Alfreda, and it was like a representation of our relationship at the time. It's like a living... Actually, I made like a big thing, and this is like a wing of it. I pulled the wing of me and up the wing of her. Yeah, this is whatever, right? I should also mention that as soon as Alfie got her new boyfriend, she got very distant with me and has been a very bad friend ever since, which sucks, you know. Definitely does suck. But whatever, you know. Speaking of Alfredo, here's the one that is in reference of her. This one is of her. This is my feelings. Look how I feel towards this person. Look at all that representation of my feelings towards this person. And how they're wasted. They're all wasted. Yeah. I would go on about this for ages, but it wouldn't be healthy, I guess. But yeah, look at it. It's got a compass on the top. It's got a mug. It's got a red panda. Isn't it cool? Yeah. It's meant to be the coolest one, but whatever. It's not. This one's of me! This one's a representation of me. This is my water park of misery and pain. Look at the water park. Isn't it cool? It's got like water guns there. And there. It's like mirrored. And like it's got the staircase, or maybe that's a slide. I don't know. You walk up that way and you go up the water slide, and then you go down this painful slide, or this painful slide. This was meant to be. I built this when I was building it with Chris. This was meant to be, like, represents a memory that I don't have. It's like, I had an experience that makes me believe that this represents a memory of mine, but I don't remember having that memory. So maybe it never happened, and maybe I'm just psychotic and delusional. Yeah. And this one, I made this one in group therapy. I made a bunch. I made a bunch week by week in group therapy, but all of them except this one, I broke up and turned them into the other ones that I showed you. I had like a display cabinet at my mum's, that showed all of them. It was like 3 or 4. This one's like a living hand, because, you know, there's people that it's gonna be a long video. There's people that watch me. There are people that watch me. I know that for a fact. You know, I'm not going to argue against that as like some sort of psychosis or anything, because these people have interacted with me. kind of directly. It was a very weird experience. It was very cool though. I enjoyed the experience, but whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. There's people not here with me right now, so. Is that all of them? Should I get back to my poetry? Oh, shut this. I built this with my mate Lun. This is the Batman Arkham Knight car thing. It's pretty cool. Look at it, isn't it cool? It's not as cool as the others because I didn't make it, but I mean I didn't design it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like that, but Lun. I would show off the Casey and Lun's, but Casey has his and Lun has his as well. So, I forgot one. This one is of Matt McCarthy, my dad's friend. That's also my friend. And it's meant to be like a pathway to self-destruction. You know, you got like the red ring, like a red flag, and it spins. It's a cool play feature. But yeah, it's like, you know, it's a colourful green entryway to a sea, feel like to a sea or a river. But in between is like a passionate amount of self-destruction. Anyhow, isn't it cool? Look how cool it is. Is that all of them? That's all of them. Go back to poetry, I guess. What was I up to? There's a bunch left, so this video is probably going to go for ages. Instrumental cacophony, a concoction, instructive, corrupting, causes and sanctioning, creatively intuitive, labelled psychotic, a terminally ill disease, dangerously abused by maliciousness, stealthily abhorrent, terrified of how I act, say or do when being permanently reviewed, holding feedback as exclusive content. Even the words of this are getting watched. It's botching this practice of pen, paper and purpose, to be forcefully pushed away, so as my wide vocabulary and focus astray, must I say what I need to filtered. Truthfully unfair, surrounded by those left with only excuses and dare to do their job properly, apparently. That one's pretty self-explanatory. That one's about me being stuck in hospital with, you know, with fucking nurses that couldn't care less about the patients, or like, I don't know, like, why do so many nurses, like, it's like 80% of all nurses just couldn't care less about the patients, and they fucking despise them, you know, and like, what's the point of going into spending all your time doing a nursing degree just so you can hate the people that you have to nurse? It's like, they're so stupid. Nurses are so dumb. Not the people that actually care, but the ones who don't care are so stupid, bro. Whatever. This one is about my young sister Caitlin. Fragile forgiveness, a fractured beacon parading bliss, a stature-speaking sound of my mind scarily stitched, a poem or something, I'd just call it this, a cry to revive a sibling relationship, readied guns in art of the pen, foregoing previous woes a symbol in when to give it a go ages ago, only anger instilled into send, gave it a try and found my results into why. Wild to think change and growth over years in pigsties, similar to living, but as my worst self I never tried. Tragically so, seems like ages ago. What's left is found, amounting to a better version of self, reciprocates findings of help, winding from an outside, regardless, trying, enables an ability to grow. Slow, yes, but tragically so. Seems the likes of ages ago. To be learned from instilling change as a statement, terribly so. No, terrifically so. Show me what brotherhood is like. A request from the bottom of my heart. My previous iterations of apology skewed, yes. However, I feel like this is a good start. I don't know if she liked that or not. She never replied. This one is about my other younger sister, Elise. Fragile fear, a topic more difficult to feel and to hear. Merely regretful, I know. I'm at fault, is impossible to show. What it's like to grow, only the younger is well versed. In contrast, the older is caught up in their woes. Confess their sins, yes, but where's practice shown? Cocooned all their feelings, apparently so, more to the point that the younger still knows. Practice it better, and man does it blow, but to distract oneself from pain is painfully worn. Persistent in diligence is due to mourn. Innocence for unfortunately horrible responsibility labelled as growth. Vile in its growth, a decaying righteousness. Rightfully slow, gets lost in meaning when a blight and an abomination in sequence. But seriously, I'm only to blame for how I acted and made you both feel tame. In efforts of a harmful existence instilled, I bear all the shame. Let me help please, for our elders prance all the same. There's no doubt in my mind you will always be better than me. That's fact, and only the younger is well versed. Hurtful, yes, but an understood tone. At least did not like that one. I sent it to her and she said it was, what was that term? Gas? No, gas is good. Buns. He called it buns. But I don't care. Approval. A wonderful tool, a making an achievement meant for pondering purpose, prescribing eventual waiting, wondering cool amounts of flavouring. Here we go. A bachelor in masking and a diploma in uncovered finding. A motion made plentiful is arising. Told no, what's left is uncovered binding. Exists the exits existential, the dreadful action is kind to the self, the heart left a meaningful pounding, sounding a tad more correct than what's left is astounding. Although frowned upon, I couldn't care less an endless amount. Skillfully woven, the mask is chosen all the same. Shame it had to come to more black truths and white lies. You'll find words mean less than the act of trying. Resources are best used when needed. I can't really tell you. Oh yeah, that's when I shared a poem with my friend Jamie, who I met in Wollongong Hospital with me. And yeah, that inspired me to write that. Next one. Deterioration detects distance devious, indifference disassociatively done. But as indifference pulls through, disallows distant destruction, is what's known as a lie. Desperate interdiction destroys what's known as a tie. Typing away tells a tale disrupting inside. In tangents trips interlocking away for disarray and complications in the way. A way for disillusions to speak truths terrible and conniving, but sleuth, casual and heinous, but why? It was unneeded from the start. A statement watered down by tears naturally stated and walls broken by complacence, constant as the floor feels from my condolences consistent, but apparently all my fault to begin with. Withering away at my face, begrudgingly berated. Because of such, my allowance for expression expands upon interest. Forgiveness is as easily abused as it is rewarding. I wrote that because my stepmother would say, or does say, like, mean one-liners that, like, what's the word? Disregard what you say. And like when I react to them in a unsurprisingly unpleasant way, you know, it's like it's my fault for doing that, you know. So whatever, right? Next one. Childlike behaviour, cherished because chances to behave as such belittle as time grows older. An older adult-like becomes corrupted in banter, barely attempting such, sacrificing innocence for responsibility. Practically put, Perception carries importance, where impatience paralyzes indulgence. Interrupting play perceives worry immaculate, answering stasis to parade contrasting places. Ruined doing nothing creatively. Is subjected to confuse wonder with malice. Self-validating it finds when approval takes hold, holding onto hope, ensuring consideration detrimental to destruction either from choice or force. Even if inconsistent to quality, practicing such touches the statement in quantity, repeating the messages, memoirs, actualizing, repeated thinking, accepting, action aiding, exceptions only beneficial in absorbing. Yeah, I can't really tell you what that means. But yeah, words, it's like, all of this is just me writing down words, it's writing down words in a sort of rhythmic tone, but it's all nonsense. It's all a bunch of whatever nonsense, right? Appropriately proportioned, a potion disassembling disaster, faster and faster, allowing power to conceptualize under a guise of the mask responsibly found, and its noise finds sound too complacent, still goes round and round, to mimicry compliant in findings amounting to failure to try, reprises a role that of belittlement, constructive, careful with it now, too volatile in acceptance, expects change and misdirection in sections, too hindering the solution sanctions, filed cases of observation, microdosing complacence, a sensation thought sensible, but honestly horrifying. I wrote that because the need to mask in Wollongong Constable is it's a scary skill, masking. You shouldn't need a mask, but how the world is, you do have to in the world. Is that the next one? Yeah. Arbitrary assurance, truthfully potent, prowling assent tedious, arduous to mistaking chance with action. After all, the joke of a lie falls odorly persistence, pouncing probability. Perfection agrees with circumstance, refusing time, given the situation allows consequence to be experienced without emotional judgment, jarring to contrast constants to change acceptance with unsaid arguments. Told such was allowed undergarments, tools and weapons frowned upon usage even with the lack of. The art of waiting. The art of making, however, understands utilization of resources until made, stories confesses conscriptions, prescribes pain all for nothing. However, outcome of such put blatantly, faulty hardware. Falls towards fairness even with odds stacked against fate. Learning to improve only states a self-fulfilling prophecy. Doomed is the man who only knows doom. Now that quote, doomed is the man who only knows doom, I was having an experience which I thought was with Alfie, but just my psychosis, I guess. And she told me that quote, or what I thought was her telling me that quote. And it's basically saying, if you're born into a life of doom, you're not going to achieve much. You're just going to either inflict more doom or just become a doomed man. And, what I thought it came from was, Alfreda's grandfather seeing my grandma dying, and him and Alfie's grandfather seeing my grandfather, who lived a life of doom, just live more doom. But that's all my psychosis. That's psychosis. Don't be fooled. I thought it was something, but it's not. Whatever, right? Read that one. I like this one. This one's one of my personal favourites. Tragically trapped. A fact-piling stats of let me redo that. Tragically trapped are fact-piling stacks of mathematical stats and science ignored, by lab rats unaware of circumstance, evidently curating a demise, prancing an idea of righteous disguise. Rightfully so, the environment and diet corrupting their minds, titled diseased by the establishment's occupationally unkind, experience their surroundings to find fellow humans inside, people powerless while prosecuting insanity. They just want to go home, are loneliness prone to confess angry lies, tried to communicate intelligence, unintentionally generates enough tension for sedation to ensure. Non-consensual has no choice when labelled mentally ill, still undocumented and legal under Mental Health Act 2007, Section 72 and 74A3. Terribly so, events transpire slow, day after day for the unemployed to stay, and the employed paid all within commotion of coffee stains, filthy mess, and intentional void of work to justify no help, expecting sanity from individuals unwillingly detained. That's about being stuck in mental hospitals. That's how it is, like the Mental Health Act is legally saying, no, you have no rights, you aren't allowed to do anything except stay. If you raise your voice, they have every option to just sedate you with drugs, put a needle in your ass. Not that it ever happened to me. I did forcefully have to get a needle in my arm for drugs. No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't. That was a threat that I never had to take. But, I do every month get a needle in my arm for fucking antipsychotic drugs that do nothing. These antipsychotic drugs are just fucking placebo. They're just mood stabilizers. Because people can't just help. They don't want to help. They instead want drugs to do all their parenting for them. But whatever, right? Negated memories, a symptom of traumatic stress, stored away in the brain of a victim blamed for isolation, similarly in vain, more experiences thematically stalling, explodes eventually based on events even the matriarchs misinterpret and loads. In tune, full of chasing escapism, blossoming banter, code for lacking accountability, smarter, protecting heinous intent, informing vandalism, various vile, and farther from projecting, affection cleverly mentions faults lost and forgotten, prosecuting having insanity as a minority in a minor community, forcing a pathetic family, framing factually evidence, exemplary examples, plenty using maths, science and delusions, fairyland apparently, physically misused and emotionally abused at an age not old enough mentally, surrounded immaculately, bruised in the mind from neglectful sound, and not to mention physically terribly painful forever. Smiling violence fused away, okay, tragically peaceful for reasons too late. It's great how I've grown and changed, amounting to action inflicting independence my own way. Skillfully willful, woes are a past thrown, in amount scarring with the present demanding innocence remains and responsibility known, in the future masking, in a sense relearns a child beneficially uncorrupted from previous insecurities, securing a file in how to be. Blasting through tragedy, trapping sabotage, bottled to see how far it can be thrown. Skillfully expressed maybe, but truthfully just a habit training, colloquial variety, vast raising what's to come. Apologies are reserved for the afterlife. Now, I really fuck with my quote, apologies are reserved for the afterlife. Because, saying sorry means nothing, it's action that deems who you are as a person. So, if you fuck up, it's like, if there's intent to change that action in the future, you should be forgiven immediately, regardless of saying sorry or not. That's how I fucking believe the world anyway. But that realistically, that's not what happened. People, feel this need for things to take time, so that they can fucking, feel pride in their forgiveness instead of just naturally being forgiving. And obviously, if people repeat the same mistakes over and over again, that intent falls off. But like, it's like if you spend time with the right people, naturally what happens is they make a mistake, and you forgive them for that mistake when they change, or like when they, showcase that they didn't mean to do that. I've made so many mistakes with my family that they want to fucking take years to forgive instead of just, but whatever, I'm better than them. Well, in some areas. But, I feel like the whole point of having a child is so that the child can be better than you. So, I'm... There's no point comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy. So, I can just say that I'm trying and being my best self. Behaved how I thought to be correct. Obsessed of lessons taught caught in a net. Of distress letting tangible destruction caress. Now deprived of experiencing less. I guess being emotive might have not been the best. Regardless how I thought to be accountable. Obscene of betting consistent variables ferment fables. This mess belittle statement to become subjective consequence. Taking the blame for all involved. Sacrificing some innocence, assisting in strengthening a mind too complex. Oh, how... Oh, I already read this one. Yeah, I already read this one. I read this one in my other video. In my Traits of Uniqueness video. Yeah, next one. Forcefully fractured, a stature no less, forging unbreakable spirit onwards, strong outwards, bears vulnerability inwards, interjects a lesson ensuring intrinsic sickness gets facaded based on blatant disregard for the intendee on guard, in the core forgotten. In the middle of these thoughts, thanks subtlety worn from second-hand shops, taken mistakes and then masons, a measurement morbidly morphing into a process called evolving. Eventually, though, proceeds caution and reverence, even an improvement alarming. A lack of proof, however, signals an arm and a leg to be overthrown, bored. What was that meant to say, thrown overboard? Bristling time and time again. Tangible trust to be thrown overboard. Oh no. A lack of proof, however, signals an arm and a leg to be overthrown board, bristling time and time again. Changeable trust to be thrown overboard, whistling must. A tactile to ire, listens to ever-longing rust and oxidizing smiles. Bear with me now as I try to reason whom set me on course for improvement in awareness, practice incapacitated, like a soldier bearing wounds folded, materialistic action, theory hypotheticals. Values of all experiences to be present, to presentate truth within maybes and evidential time, space controlled and risks averted, bristles rhyme to create complicated simplicities, a simply better stasis in a chaotic basis. Lessons are inevitably learned and understanding exchanged for betterment is earned. At least that's what I took from the knowledge of these words. The individual is the most valuable asset. Yes. Yeah, whatever, right? You can agree with it or not. What am I up to? Displaced by a disgrace of blood, who would have thought? Disposed as long as the end result captivates presence gone. Persistent ignorance capitalize on discarding difference, the need to keep correction torn. Worn excuses evidence, parroting terrible form converts excellence into terror. Tragic but unacceptable when change plenty mistakenly exchange unvalued expression, especially ideas of improved communication, now facing the consequence of the awful action. Unjustified to receive unneeded excuses, exclaiming to be help, harmful to the recipients, limiting their options so ineptitude can survive, apparently valued by bountiful lies, projecting onto innocents directly harming their lives, not a conniving intention, however halting their ability to try. That was about my uncle sending me to fucking Nepean Hospital because he couldn't handle a few words
that I said to him. You know, instead of trying to work with me in being better, he instead just fucking throws me away because he's a stupid piece of shit cunt. You know, fuck you, Rob. You're a cunt. You know, you just do nothing every day. You fucking do your stupid 9 to 5, and then you go home and watch TV. And then that's like a good life to you, apparently. Because you have a wife that is too complacent to do anything with her life. Except be a piece of shit cop. Whatever. Very mean. Being very mean. But they were very mean to me. So what comes around goes around. I mean, you know, in life you should be better than the people that treat you badly. But sometimes you're not ready for that. Sometimes you just have to be in a state where you're just upset at someone. Elation faded with action stated, with a choice of inevitability to be taken or faded. Multiple reflections made into metaphorical stations, a great skill to make it happen. Apparently difficult, practice makes perfect, of patience it performs in a formation catered to routinely examples, listened to but chose as knowledge of prejudice and bias gates. Their thoughts and opinions appreciated but ultimately only suggestions to fail, maybe. However, strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and losing lucked out or fate, it doesn't matter when signs shown of a life thrown away, opportunity disregarded, marked what is known as repetitive failure, never changing since perfection knows better, aware of what mistakes? They exist as the makeup smothered on top of lies and insecurity. Your time's up. Listen to difference or complacence becomes made up. Never heard of procrastination unless it's another success. Blessed to be your best self, since your worst never existed. Kissed a chance goodbye, your chance at relationship. Uncoming of the individual, little by little, chances comply. Though constant lying of self is granted one last try. To find your wrongness locked away in your minds. They threw away the key, but personally, it's in the contract you signed. Yeah, that was about... The first half's about leading a life of complacency, of, you know, not changing and just being the same person every day. The second half is about, you know, my dad, you know, risking to become that life. Because, like, yeah, that's how I see it anyway. Resentful regard, on guard for reason frantically hard. Honest was the approach for values, difficultly modest, where's the approval, but unaccepted throughout furore. A chore to keep topic about, accepting disturbance. Hence the result bears a guilty amount of shame keeping the topic commute until totally lame. The reaction, although unfitting, was justified when complications mistook themselves under petrified insecurity, conditional to pride, shook an attempt at friendship unlikely, gave it a try, but found outcome exempt of betrayal with commitment unbearing. Hearing such witnesses may find consolidation alarming, but the likelihood of when showcases an essence in wrong timing. That was about me trying to make friends with someone at Waratah Private Hospital, but I said the wrong thing at the wrong time to them, and made them upset. So we're not friends. But, you know. I'm proud of this one too. I like this one of my favourites as well. I blended out with these words, I'm about to throw it away. All along ignorance apparently known my body language, unconditional despair. Honestly, an awful amount of alienation mentions, an articulate memento, forging alliterations and shoulds. Stellarly abominating, bailing conditional leave, leaping to conclusions clearly, concludes clear skies, painted red dearly, and blue fearful amounts. A miracle in pain, tinted red drained, out all my patient stains, steadily onwards in my names. Minutes wasted transfer into midnights into days, for weeks to go by, all the less same. I bleed it out, mistakes, pain for failure. Oh, what a shame, merely shameful when the default is to throw it away. Yeah, I wrote that bawling my eyes when some false promise of being let out didn't come true. Of Wollongong Hospital. Senseless but sensible structure starts all from a caressed stature, sterile maybe, but inevitable crafted messages, messy albeit, but eventual. What a relief hard work pays. Wait, I already read this one, didn't I? I already read this one. Yeah, I already read this one. Read that one too. I don't know if I should read that one. I mean, I should. I'm going to read that one anyway. But I'll save it for last and I'll read it begrudgingly. Fuck. Said words so abrupt. Felt stuck in nervousness and our tragedy struck. Mentally, should have pronounced less. Where time exists, so does unlimited stress. Dissolving into a mess. Messy confidence results to engaging in less. Caressed guesses, eyes to mouth, an amount unquantifiable. Best left bare. Is this care? Is this fair? Fearing my options, I stopped to stare in the mirror, fond of what I've become, but found despair. Just under my heart are my hateful intentions. Forget them as my stomach deters self-reflection, attracting desperation. Default to a consequence planned, utilizing resources until damned. Hand in hand, holding on to damnation so stiff self-inflicted. Victim and predator, guilty from the sequence earned as I learned to wear multiple faces for fearful places, ponder cases of untied laces, where multiple uncertainties lace themselves mentally. Should have done that instead of this, or was it this instead of that? Seem to have misplaced reasoning, statistically I should seem that to there. What to learn? I want to learn from these mistakes, so may as well rarely differentiate and take from myself my own self-care and translate into deflection whenever correction takes form. Repeating negligence gently, causing indignity, seems to be purposely cancelling. Interdiction only including positive traits for growth. Indirectly dismissed when intentionally possessive for attempting to loathe, or lone dopamine thrives in growth. Repeating negativity, revealing deliberate suffering, a sundering and fading, failing trade and automative helping, evens excuses, created suddenly, projected passively and aggressive naturally, bluffing to distract from being stung over, unsung, alleviation, fun initially, funny repeating, but later became boring storing chlorine poisoning the mind of mistakes overbearing. Could move past to undergo changing. It's just not worth it, is worth nothing clearly, perfect as could ever be. See flaws bait out vulnerability, small chance of raw emotion can't be taken, so back to repeating negligence gently, in safety. It's an ability which helps perfume out defects and blemishes. Really. That was about me being kind of mean to one of my co-workers. I mean, this person, Janaea Wilson, you know, I thought I could have a friendship with them, but they instead chose their fucking piece of shit, insecure, negative influence boyfriend at the time, who's she's not with anymore. Surprisingly, you know, who would have thought? So because of that, I was a bit mean to her. I talked behind her back at work. Surprised I still have my job, to be honest. For many things, there's many reasons why, but yeah. I said sorry to her, so we're all good, but that inspired this poem. And last one. I'm pretty sure I have more. I should have more. Let me try and see if I have more. I should have more. I do have more. Let me just send this to myself so I can shit. Yeah. Oh. Alright, send this time. Okay, let's read them out. Let's read. I'll read that one that. I'll read the other one last, because it deserves to be last. Not for a good reason, but just because. Where truths lie, only the honest succeed. With lies pandering, probability heeding, stealing innocence for responsibility becomes bleeding. Realizing reality gets caught in feeling. Feeling so tough, bluntness becomes screeching. Eager to cry, the reason becomes fleeting. Pushed aside, my stride and my essence. I get lost. Failing to heal become my state of mind. Comfort becomes casualty, casually caught in cul-de-sacs without meaning. Meaning a lack of action actualizes, acting on awfulness, and before you know it, known truths conceptualize, become disguise. But what's felt is indefinite in stealth, a sleuth for the witness finding themselves mute. To prosecuting discomfort, a change despise. The merchant sells all its disposable wares, but steal its value and regret embodies their market. I don't really know what that's about, but whatever. It's about something. Solitary showmanship solely shows. Sanitary sanity seemingly slows solace. Alliteration aids an effort exacerbated. Extend an altercated emotion. Entered late, and aimed arrows accelerated. Emotion unaccepted. Made malice accepted. Excelling misdirection. The experience in isolation. Shared contrast validation incapacitated. Capability ventilated. Starts arguments needed, repeated, required, relentless. Tests patience in crappy circumstance. Resolution dense, smothered in sense. What's built from spite becomes content past tense, misunderstood under a disabled lens. Glorified reasoning resolves nothing since suggestions invalidated, readies numerically faded meanings, endlessly resulting in hiding hideous intentions, keeping cruelty concealed, reinforces negativity, negating selective sources. Of course I'm forced to try, at an overly expressive cry, after dignified fines, attempt newly what I do best, disappoint through unexpected, destroying disillusions. Your lies are discontinued as difference pulls through. Again, I don't really know what that means. It means something. Torch tandem towards distraught. Displaced space faced onwards. Distracted grace runs forward for arbitrary lessons and subjective leisures ensures defeat. Meets demise temporarily discreet. Defaced although a tempo and beat ruined pace. Linearly made make haste. Too fast! Hilariously alarming attributes, attracting attentive and attempting terror. Trial and error dictates directive disputes. Put lightly, fights ensure, surely separating. A tadpole who doesn't fit in his group will become the most unique frog. A butterfly's wings tells a short story of a successful caterpillar. What it learned in its cocoon, it reflects within its light. So yeah, there was some psychosis, some psychotic experiences where I wrote like little notes under my poems. I only did that for like one in this, for these ones. But yeah. Repetitive reflection in sections. Mentions a recreational stunt stationed. Repeating mistakes takes an error. Awesome in feats of accomplishment. However, if situation too complex or contradictories, let me dumb it down. I am able to grow by showcasing all terribleness around, all the beauty kept stable, all the comfort and all the pain. Forgiveness in self is allowed through reflecting surrounding light and sound. Again I repeat, embodiment as the stain, beautiful in colour and to be remembered. but as impactful as the actions an individual finds to be, it's vain. It's the consequence of such that individual lives with freely. Seeing past perception, a person finds difference. Uniqueness, a plan to perpetrate allowance, finds a format for success. Let reason dictate action, and emotion regulate outcome. I hope that, resonates with you. I came up with that quote, let reason dictate action and emotion regulate outcome. Let reason dictate action and emotion regulate outcome. I came up with that. That was, I hope you vibe with that. A memory, like emotion, it is fleeting. Definitely emotion, like it or not, results in remembering, usually using cognitive feeling. Feeble and black tar clogs results in stealing. Where the child dies, an unexplained meaning stores the experience tightly beneath the receptors, underneath ears to keep itself cycling as atrocity sheathed, repeating until fixed, barely. Too easily the trapped memories make them broken. Shadows mistaken as the source of light. Hidden yet still found, fakes a sensation felt aiding. All for nothing when the brain loves hating. The snake's fangs are used when it is needed to kill its prey. Suicide becomes the product of mistaking its tail for such. Articulate concepts too vast art thou. Too fast for you? Let me just slow it down. Existence is pain, happiness is death. Sadness is bliss, exists a lack of breath. Where teaching is ignorance, expression speaks truth, except when the innocence defined as your youth creates judgmental praise, expertly insecure, eats experience away, provides mental stockades, gates fading the acceptance we prided ourselves made disabused, suggestions in empathetic ways. Created maze of improvement to hide true intention, sections of affinity infinitely degrade, disappointing diversion desperately staged, laid down continuity, continuously, converse corrupted, cause sensibility stolen, stored inevitably, intense senses spoken to poke fun at the problem. Probably hilarious, however consequence unrelented. Dangerous statement is invalidated by belittlement, but bastardizing arrangement angered rage for contentment. I like this one too. I'm pretty proud of this one. Evolution, given the label disappointingly of disabled, enables desperation grateful of various fables, engraves squabble, encouraging unfortunate staples, encased given the adaptation soaked fearful, embracing embarrassments, challenging developments, elated immaculates, only wavering hesitance, ambivalent immutable, only correct statements. Although stance on such is a changed requirement, I'm setting the precedent, establishing embodiment. Applying aptitude constructs certitude. Thought arranged or spewed orchestrates idea anew. Although few and far between, we are many unseen. Seeing through judgment arises a sight of being. Above the inflammatory theories and insecurities, insane to think comfort takes form in majority. Overcome insecurities becomes the best self steady. Worst self yesterday, encapsulate a future clear. Abandoning fear, although I heard arguments, listen to the point of view. Abrasive facts abhorrent. Honest action apparent, invalidate opinion stagnant. Sterile comfort, consistent, stands conspicuous silence. A sickness feral spreads onto indulgence and innocence. Innocently elusive, soothing skillful patience. Unwelcome whom invited vindicative nonsense. A practice insecurity smothered, undeserving improvement. A movement I instill, insisting growth until death. Earned by those embracing empathetic forgiveness, instead of excuses laid bare. Abolish embellishing static awareness. Lack of commitment, comically conspiring, accumulating malicious mind thought mutilating, my sense of self, selfishly seeking help, stating betterment but barely succeeding, butchering chances and suffering, splinter plenty the creative activity of pen and paper, pandering atrocious anger, bleeding vocally, poorly but not worse than previous, spending forgiveness for failure, fought aggressively, awful and alienating, condensed chord in a state called achieving, range caused from riveting answers gated expressively, expecting perspective competitively. In accordance, stumped dreams become stumped problems. In a dance for outcome, produced more perception. The thorn in the soldier's side must be dealt with patience and vigour before he becomes a part of the vine. White lies and black truths, the salt and pepper used for various poisons. What else have we got? Terribly disgruntled, felt from reality. Terrifyingly disfigured, emotion made constantly. Consistent suffering, I feel until evolution gradually. Terror me for the sake of it. Bit by bit until I change. Damnation with artistic range. Excuses or acceptance, regardless of lack of exchange. A pain to be remembered less and do it all again. A pain to be remembered less to nullify my brain. Fuck that, I think. Self-destruction is for the insane. Want to feel normal. I really, really want to change. Against the odds, my brink of my retardation. Coupled with my existence. Thrupled with self-resistance. Hence the senses I feel exist elevate disassociation. Presentate my mind to cure me of this rumination. Procrastination and ruination. Purely just for creation. But whisper to myself I can't just. Fuck! Despite everything, moronic irony tells how to be, aligned with nothing except yourself. Now realizing that I want to behave normally, that being insane is not as bad as it's out to be. My own insanity, although flawed, provides company, an ability through experience to be unique, is able to convey so much, showcase personality, bathe in my own misery, wash away normality. Analysing my own self, it gives me this hunch, embodying how I've grown, entirely all alone. Let those who give into temptation of excuse over action, knowing how to avoid their sickly plague is true sight. Now that was the aside from that last bit at the end, the let those who give into temptation. Aside from that, the rest of the stuff was the first thing I ever wrote. That was the start of all my, poetry and whatever. Anyhow, that's all of it. Actually, I gotta read out the last one. This one is about Alfredo. Or I thought her name was Alfredo at the time. I don't even know if it's Alfredo. This person, gave me so much hope about the world. But that was in the past. And the past doesn't matter. One thing I learned about the past is that it straight up does not matter. Everything in the past is, who cares, right? It's not who you are now. All the good things, all the bad things. It is what it is. Now, how do I start? Honestly, this passion needs to be truly expressed. Excessive, maybe, but coherent at best. I think to start needs tempo and tone, beating away to its own feelings confessed. Restless emotion, apparently full, overloaded the commotion in interest, until communication settled rambunctiousness. Still this lack of fulfillment searches expressive creation, catered to feelings of appreciation and a four-letter word unspoken by the request. Ludicrous, overtly, ventured elation, constant in the fleeting reminder. Although past circumstance stated deliverance and eternal existence, fractured it became intense. No stress. Rekindled a kinship in self-respect. Picked up where we left off? Yes. Deny the experience no longer of our relationship and its wonders. Wondering a bright future festers into a sense of self stronger. Strength of our minds allows all our past wrongs, regardless of faults, they are squandered. Despite all that I've forgotten and all that you remember, help me make memorable occurrences for us to remember. An awesome individual, accepting occupation and mutual benefits. Fractally fabulous, friendship forever, for no one smarter nor better. Really, really beautiful, and direct cuteness. Intellectually empathetic, embodying forgiveness. Diligence, careful, definite, cunning, deliberate. All with an attractive smile and adorable attitude. And if there's one thing I've learned from the one of my love, is an endless amount of kindness and care all around. Above every pitch of negative sound, found situationship stress-free, embracing betterments for the world to see, confidently able to express being and feelings, a skill taught by my best friend Alfie. Confidential flaws are a lack of worry with myself is the example of teamwork plenty. Inevitably, your 21 years of assistance is to be repaid duly. I think 22. She's probably 22 now. Or 23? I don't know when her birthday is, but she's either 22 or 23. Not that matters. I don't know, I got rid of all the videos that talked about her, even that having depression one, which was very vague. It wasn't really that much about it. I'll probably upload it again. I don't need to upload it again. It's been on the internet. Someone will find it in the future. But anyhow, that's all my poems. If you liked any of them, leave a like. And yeah, that's it. Be good, live well.